Coming up on 5 Minute News. Legal challenges begin as Republicans falsely flag election integrity. The US economy grew 2.6% last quarter. And Vladimir Putin admits he won't use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. It's Friday, October 28. I'm Anthony Davis. In courtrooms across the country, efforts to sow doubt over the outcome of the election have already begun just 11 days from Election Day. More than 100 lawsuits have been filed this year around the November 8 elections. The legal challenges, largely by Republicans, target rules for mail-in voting, early voting, voter access, voting machines, voter registration, the counting of mismarked absentee ballots, and access for partisan poll watchers. The cases likely preview a potentially contentious post-election period, and the strategy stems partly from the failure of Donald Trump and his allies to prevail in overturning the free and fair results of the 2020 presidential election that he lost to Joe Biden. That was an ad hoc response fronted by a collection of increasingly ill-prepared lawyers that included Rudy Giuliani. The current effort, however, is more formalized, well-funded and well-organized, and is run by the Republican National Committee and other legal allies with strong credentials. Party officials say they are preparing for recounts, contested elections, and more litigation. Thousands of volunteers are ready to challenge ballots and search for evidence of malfeasance. The RNC said it has a multi-million-dollar election integrity team. It has hired 37 lawyers in key states, held more than 5,000 training sessions to teach volunteers to look for voter fraud, which is rare and isolated, and filed 73 suits in 20 states. Other Trump-allied legal teams, including America First Legal, run by former Trump advisor Stephen Miller, are also involved. As with Trump in 2020, Republican strategy is to sow just enough doubt in the integrity of the election and to claim victory, whatever the outcome. The US economy grew at a 2.6% annual rate from July through September, snapping 2 straight quarters of contraction and overcoming high inflation and interest rates, just as voting begins in midterm elections, in which the economy's health has emerged as a paramount issue. Thursday's better-than-expected estimate from the Commerce Department showed that the nation's gross domestic product, the broadest gauge of economic output, grew in the third quarter after having shrunk in the first half of 2022. Stronger exports and consumer spending, backed by a healthy job market, helped restore growth to the world's biggest economy and have allayed fears about a possible recession. Consumer spending, which accounts for about 70% of U.S. economic activity, expanded at 1.4% annual pace in the July to September quarter, down from a 2% rate from April through June. Last quarter's growth got a major boost from exports, which shot up at an annual pace of 14.4%. Government spending also helped. It rose at a 2.4% annual pace, the first such increase since early last year, with sharply higher defense spending leading the way. With inflation around the world at a 40-year high, steady price hikes have been pressuring households across the US. At the same time, rising loan rates have derailed the housing market and are likely to inflict broader damage over time. The outlook for the world economy grows bleaker the longer that Russia's war against Ukraine drags on. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday denied having any intentions of using nuclear weapons in Ukraine, but described the conflict there as part of alleged efforts by the West to secure its global domination, which he insisted are doomed to fail. Speaking at a conference of international foreign policy experts, Putin said it's pointless for Russia to strike Ukraine with nuclear weapons. We see no need for that, Putin said. There is no point in that, neither political nor military. Putin said an earlier warning of his readiness to use all means available to protect Russia didn't amount to nuclear saber-rattling, but was merely a response to Western statements about their possible use of nuclear weapons. He particularly mentioned Liz Truss, saying in August that she would be ready to use nuclear weapons if she became Britain's Prime Minister, a remark which he said worried the Kremlin. Truss only lasted 45 days as UK PM. In a long speech full of diatribes against the United States and its allies, Putin accused them of trying to dictate their terms to other nations in a dangerous, bloody and dirty domination game. Putin claimed that humankind now faces a choice: accumulate a load of problems that will inevitably crush us all, or try to find solutions that may not be ideal but could work and could make the world more stable and secure. Without offering evidence, the Russian leader repeated Moscow's unproven allegation that Ukraine was plotting a false flag attack involving a radioactive dirty bomb it would try to pin on Russia. Ukraine has strongly rejected the claim, and its Western allies have dismissed it as transparently false. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told reporters on Thursday that the US has still not seen anything to indicate that Putin has decided to use such a weapon. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.